What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to Roast, Boast, and Toast podcast. This week we got Shorty.
What's up, guys?
We got Kev back.
What's going on?
And Dre. My name's Magno, and today we're going to discuss several topics around the table. Obviously, you see the cups. Black Panther came out this weekend, and it definitely lived up to the hype. So if you don't want any spoilers and you haven't seen it yet, we definitely recommend you to save this podcast for next week or wherever you see it. But we will be touching a lot upon that movie towards the end. This weekend we also had the All-Star game, NBA basketball. So we have to touch on a lot of things that happened this weekend over there in California. But to get it off, we're starting off with the roast segment, and we're starting off with the NBA All-Star weekend. There was a lot of things that happened. I don't even know what to touch first.
Let's start from the top with the Fergie national anthem.
So, yeah.
That's a body double. It wasn't her.
So Fergie decided she wanted to sound sexy doing the national anthem, and it just didn't work.
She made like a classic R&B song out of the national anthem. That was crazy.
Now, Wiz Khalifa did come out in her defense. He made an interesting point. I want to get your guys' take on it. He said the Jimi Hendrix national anthem at Woodstock was also received with a lot of backlash, but after a couple years, it did become a classic.
It shouldn't take a couple years for me to like it.
This doesn't work here because, we're talking about vocals. Jimi Hendrix was showcasing notes and a guitar, and just people weren't ready for that. Plus, it was the 60s, and that was still civil rights era, around that time. So there was a lot of hate going on. Woodstock was mostly a white crowd, but I would say it kind of reflects the state that the United States is in. That I felt like
dysfunction.
I felt like it is this I thought it was funny. So I'm not even mad at it because I thought okay, she brought something lighthearted.
Listen, you're not the only one that thought that was funny.
She wasn't bringing it for that.
Did you see at one point a majority of the NBA players who were standing on the sideline
were laughing.
I saw that.
There was the audience who you can hear them pretty well. You can hear them laughing in the background. That's embarrassing.
She kept it strong though. She kept going.
Good for her. But man,
it was there's a video out there. It's Draymond Green, LeBron, Steph Curry, Karl Anthony Towns. They're just
yeah.
And what was
Chance
that
had to
guy?
cover his face. That's how
Jimmy
bad it
Kimmel
was.
laughing too. I'm sure he's gonna roast her.
Yeah, for sure.
He's definitely gonna roast her for sure. Someone said that Maya Rudolph from Saturday Night Live did a skit that's exactly the same as Fergie's singing. So,
Oh yeah, I seen her.
so I haven't seen that, but I have to check that out. I have to check that. But man, sad weekend for Fergie. Wish her the best.
she's a great artist though. That's
Quick recovery.
You know what I'm saying? She'll bounce back somehow.
But another person that took the L was what was her name? Laura Ingraham from Fox.
From Fox News. Yeah.
So for people that don't know, Laura Ingraham,
Repeat offender.
she
Yeah.
was speaking on her show on a podcast that Kevin Durant and LeBron did for SportsCenter with Carrie Champion, where they both
With the Uber, the ride along
Uber,
with champions.
Yeah, the Uber ride. So they were just disclosing their feelings about
viewpoints.
President Trump and just everything that he's doing and all the stuff that comes out of his mouth. And she didn't like it, so she had some words to say to KD and LeBron, and she said that they should shut up and dribble, which a lot of people found that kind of racist. And she also said a comment that said they like speaking, but they don't like it when they're hit with the backlash. So when she said the word they, a lot of people were like, who's they? Obviously we know who's they, but they thought it was a general term for
this
black.
isn't the first time she's done something like this.
Yeah. I do appreciate LeBron's comments though.
The clapback,
The clapback was really great.
Yeah. I was listening to it on the radio this morning actually.
Yeah, basically saying, how are you going to say this about us when she's had people on her show who have nothing to do with politics talk about issues that's going on in the world. So why can't basketball players or any athlete put their opinion on it?
I don't get why people think that because you're an athlete, you can't have an opinion on what's going on in the country that you're in.
I think it's more of if you're not a politician, they kind of assume that you can't. Mind you, our president.
Not a politician.
Not a politician.
Not even still.
What's her background?
Something.
Is she just an anchor?
I think her background is just journalism.
All right, so the same thing. So the same thing applies to her.
She need
Then
to shut up and write
exactly.
on dogs.
But I mean, KD also like laughed at the comments, and you know, they basically both agree, like, you know, they're role models for black kids everywhere in America, and they want to stand up and be a, you know.
Yeah, LeBron had the more than an athlete on his crispy Air Force Ones.
I like those.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever did them.
Shout out to Colin Kaepernick, who I feel like is kind of like the one who maybe began all this, or is really stepping up and not being afraid to you know,
on a side note, someone said that Kaepernick finally stood up for the national anthem after Fergie sang, because she was so disrespectful.
Oh man,
this isn't the national anthem, is it? No, let me just stand.
Someone said Colin Kaepernick stood up after that.
I can stand for this. This is not the national anthem.
This ain't the national anthem.
This is something else. I don't know this.
This is national anthem. You promise?
But yo, like,
he's like, this is so disrespectful. I gotta stand up. I can't get behind this.
He's like, I gotta support her.
the dunk contest too.
Oh yeah,
DJ Khaled was messing up the scorecards all weekend, man. Like,
Bro, at one point they zoomed in on him. He's like, "Oh, I gave him a 9. Oh, my bad." Like, I guess he meant to give him a 10, so you got the perfect score.
yeah,
He gave him a 9 by accident. Obviously, you got the 49 instead of the.
yeah. That should be the last time they invite him to judge a
Bro, somebody
dunk
tweeted.
contest.
I laughed. Somebody tweeted out and said, "If DJ Khaled messes up my score and I'm an athlete, I'm allowed to fight him."
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't check out All Star Weekend this year.
I just seen a dunk contest.
There was just something about this year that I was just like,
It was
The dunk
different.
contest. The dunk contest is back.
I had a
Is
busy,
it?
Is back. Yeah.
I don't know, because I saw the participants and I'm like, I don't know.
I had a busy weekend, so I only
No, the guy who won. Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
He did some ills.
I only caught glimpses, like highlights.
I wanted it to go another round because Larry Nance Jr.'s dunk, he double tapped it off the backboard and then dunked it. I was like,
that sounds
But he
dope.
threw it off another backboard and alley-ooped himself and dunked it, man.
He also jumped over Kevin Hart,
Kevin Hart's like
squatting over.
That's not that hard to do.
It's not. Yeah.
It's really not that hard.
That's
I've seen
like trying to
LeBron
dunk
jump
over
a center.
That's like dunking over Axel. Like, who can't do that? You know, like.
On his tippy toes.
But to close out this like All-Star weekend thing, what do you guys think of the new system, like, for the All-Star game? It's no longer the East versus
I like
West.
it.
Now it's like they have a pool of players, and you could draft the 2 captains from the teams that made the finals the year before get to draft players into their teams. It definitely made for an exciting game.
There was defense being
There was
played for the
defense being
first time in
played.
years.
Yeah. That's the most I've ever seen. I ain't gonna say his name, but Harden.
What about him?
He finally had some defense,
Oh,
but it wasn't enough.
Shout out Houston.
Yeah, he was working hard. Though,
Hey, yo,
man.
I'm saying it here on this podcast. It's gonna be the Cavs versus the Rockets in the finals. Try me.
What about the Celtics?
They ain't gonna make it. Sorry, Boston.
I love the Celtics. You know me. I'm a hometown sports fan.
Next year.
But yeah, the fact that we still don't have Gordon Hayward, I think that's still gonna affect us. So next year, that's my team.
I think
This
next year.
I don't know. I think the Eastern Conference Finals are going to be more interesting than the
You know who I like?
finals.
The Raptors.
Raptors are nice.
The Raptors
like
are
the
playing
Raptors.
nice, but it's all going to depend on how well DeRozan and Lowry play in the playoffs, because they have quite a bit of a streak of just like not living up to expectations.
Nah, but yeah, we definitely need Gordon Hayward to come back,
Yeah.
the white savior. Talking about white people though.
Yep.
Our next topic is white people that were trolling Twitter this whole weekend. They were putting up fake bloody pics of themselves, claiming that
They got assaulted.
that
at the
black people
Panther.
were assaulting them at the Black Panther screenings. What I saw Black Twitter did, they posted pictures of, like, remember Red from Friday? The guy who got his chain stolen?
Yeah.
Somebody posted his pic. It was like, oh, they attacked my cousin at the movies. And then people kept posting pictures of, like, Michael B. Jordan on Creed when he gets messed up.
Yeah.
They're like, they also attacked my cousin there too. Like, so, like, I love Black Twitter because they take everything and just make it into, like,
Something.
humor. You know?
Whenever something happens, I immediately go to Twitter and just see what like what crazy things are gonna go down, and it never disappoints.
It's so quick too. The responses that they get, like these memes.
They got like a.
They
meme
got it, and
generator.
like man.
Yeah, they make memes as soon as something like before even something comes out. Like
Their Photoshop skills are amazing.
I
I remember
remember-
having people's head on bodies that ain't supposed to be.
Yeah,
I
right?
remember just recently the Super Bowl with that little kid who took a selfie with Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah,
that had
yeah.
just happened. Went on Twitter maybe like 5 minutes later. Boom, memes all over the
everywhere.
place.
and it's like high def memes.
Yeah.
It was like I don't. Let me Google it. I don't know who this is real quick.
They got like 4K memes out there.
They got
they're not
they got
looking at
gifs.
TV like, ooh.
They got gifs. How you make a gif and you ain't even there? You got to make a gif off the recording of the TV.
Hold on, bro. It's GIFs.
It's debate time.
It's
Debate
not,
time.
It's not GIFs. For all you guys that say GIFs out there, it's GIFs. The creator said it.
I got a question. When you were in school, when they used to say A,
And does,
B,
you know the name Giuseppe? Yeah, it's with a G. Same thing, GIF.
who said that's even right?
Huh?
Who said that's even right?
The entire
that is
Italian
right.
race.
Nah, I don't know. It's
You
definitely
gonna have
not
to fight
Jif.
the whole Jersey
It's
Shore.
not Jif, bro.
It's GIF.
It's 100% not
It's definitely not Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
Hold on, wait.
Give me Giuseppe.
That's just disrespectful.
Our producer Axel's pretty good at this. Axel, what is it? GIF? What is it? It's a debate.
It's a debate.
Is it me?
I guess we'll have
Or
something on
meme.
Instagram.
I argue for GIF.
You argue for GIF.
Is
I
it,
appreciate that.
is it
Support all
meme
day.
or meme?
No, it's definitely meme.
It's meme.
Alright.
Who says meme?
Whoever says meme.
No,
Meme.
come on.
This
now.
ain't a Kendrick
That's
Lamar
not a
song.
debate.
If you're below the border, if you're south of the border, is meme.
Oh.
I never heard that one. I guess we'll have
Is
to
it
have like
Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi?
I've said Wi-Fi jokingly, but
Depend-
no one
yeah.
ever called Wi-Fi.
Depending on
We
what
can no longer
Spanish
be
mom you're
friends.
talking to.
That's
You're right,
true.
you're right.
The reason we say GIF is because it stands for graphic interface. So
All right, you went on.
Yeah,
You went on a whole
we
nother-
also
Anyway,
we also
back-
we also have the word giraffe, which has a G. So you guys can't debate that it can't be said as GIF. Giraffe, GIF. I win. All right. Nah, but that's a debate that will go on forever. Like that's
It shouldn't. It should be GIF.
no. But I thought that was funny though. Like I appreciate Black Twitter, man. That's
real.
why I'm still on Twitter.
Never
because-
disappoints, right?
Never disappoints.
Real quick, you know why it's GIF? If you spell gift with the T, you take the T out.
Yeah, but it's not a gift.
But you take the T out. So why would the first letter change?
So it's giraffe.
But I'm asking you. So no, answer my question. No wait, GIFT is gift, right?
Yeah.
You take the T out. You just
But
completely
this is
change
a-
from gift to GIF.
But this is a whole
Because-
different word.
That don't make sense. No, let's just take the letter out in the end. Why would it change the sounding in the beginning?
Why is
Show me. Give me an example.
pneumonia spelled with a P, but it's not pronounced?
It's silent.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? Because it happens besides whoever made the word.
They're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw.
You
a P on
answer
there.
my question, and I'll answer
What about
yours.
lasagna?
What about it? That's good. That's
There's a
not,
G in
come on,
there.
man. That's not the same as what I'm saying.
Real G's move in silence like
I'm
lasagna.
just
Shout out
saying,
Wheezy.
how you take a letter out and completely just change the whole word sounding?
That's English for you.
No, it's
English.
not.
That's entire
That's,
English.
yeah.
Trust me. As somebody who learned English, it's the worst language. This is why.
You guys are
So many
wild.
questions.
But yo,
Let's
we
go to
got-
the next one, man.
We got this next topic. I'm interested in your ideas. It's do you guys get turned off by what people like or follow on social media?
No.
No.
No, I mean there's so many different things on social media. That's what people's interests are. Like who am I to be like, oh, like that's like me saying like clearly I don't like. Let's say I'm not a big fan of.
Man.
Sure. Like I'm not. Let's say I'm not into like
False.
video game. I'm not like super into video games. I
Okay.
play like FIFA, Madden.
Right.
I'm gonna follow less things about video games and more stuff about actual sports like soccer. And it's like
if it's-
Axel, my roommate, he clearly enjoys that area of the subject
area?
matter, and he follows it more. So like
Well, he follows what like
Video game.
like more
Video-
video game stuff, more like technology stuff. That's
You
not
about to
my
come
that's
from
not my cup of
something
tea.
face.
I'm surprised because like he sucks at video games.
I
but-
knew he's coming for him. I seen it in your face. He was
Nah, I
coming
mean like
with-
I'm just surprised.
Concocting. He's
A
concocting
video
it.
game enthusiast is not that good.
Listen,
mean,
I don't even play video games that much, and I whooped him in Mario Kart like this.
Yo, why
That
you
is
put
true. That is true.
You guys were here. You guys were here. It was the,
I am a witness.
The classic Nintendo.
Nintendo.
What is it? NES.
His
Is that
hand-
the one I
his
beat you
hands-
in
his
Axel.
He didn't warm
I
up.
don't even know. That's how much I'm not into video games. And I still beat
He said,
you.
he, said
Come on,
he ate popcorn before, so his hands are slippery.
But yo, peep
His
this,
remote
like,
was old.
it's not like this doesn't just go for your regular friends. What about if it's somebody of interest? The reason I ask is because like I feel like, I mean, there's certain stuff that if somebody likes and you're not a fan of, you can move on or whatever. It's not a big deal. But I feel like everything's important.
Yeah.
What you feed yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like everything is food for the mind. So like me, like personally, I don't even watch TV just because like I don't like for TV to influence like what I do musically or just like in life, period. So like I choose what I can watch like on things like Netflix or on demand, stuff like that, or even YouTube. Like YouTube's a great source for like documentaries. So I think like all that stuff matters, like where you feed your mind. Because then you get to see part of their personality. I wouldn't say you can judge a person by what they like or follow too much. Because like, to be honest, sometimes we like stupid stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest. Sometimes you need like that little, like sometimes I might like a stupid movie and I enjoy it just because it gives me a break from like serious stuff in the world, you know? Like, I might like an Adam Sandler movie, and that doesn't really feed my mind any substance.
I don't know. I think kind of
I don't know.
what
Happy
you
Gilmore
watch.
is one of the greatest sports films ever.
Facts.
I
That is
think-
a great movie.
I think kind of what you watch and what you like kind of does dictate your, not gonna say your personality, but kind of your makeup. Kind of, I don't know how to describe it. For example, like you said, he likes video games. When you think of the type of person he is, does he fit that
Absolutely.
genre? Yes. You know?
Yeah, but I feel like that. Yeah, like for example, so let's take Axel. He likes video games, but that doesn't tell me anything about Axel. Only the fact that
100% he's short. 100%.
Oh, dang.
100%.
I don't know how you-
Hey, he can turn your mic off right now, man, if you wanted to.
If they cut me off, I'm gonna start sign languaging on you boys. He got me.
Yo, sign language interpreters make a lot of money.
They do.
You seen the one at Walking Flock
It's
concert?
150 an hour. I know
$150 an
because
hour.
I build them. So, but like what I'm saying is like, for example, Axel likes video games, but that doesn't tell me much about his character. Or
But that's only
personality.
one thing. You gotta get more than one thing, I think.
So he's a nerd. So what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it doesn't matter because like you get a general idea of who
Yes.
he is, but
Yeah.
then you can-
Outline.
yeah, exactly. You get an
You still
an
have to
outline.
go in depth.
Yeah,
Of
you still have to
course,
like
I'm
ask.
But at
him,
least you
like-
know like what you're walking into. Because if you were to see a guy like, I can't even think, because you must say someone that you wouldn't like, but there's probably so many different things that a guy can do that you wouldn't even want to associate with him. Like if you seen a guy, he look like a mark.
First of all, I'm never interested into what a guy likes. You know what I mean, like I just want to throw that out there for the fans listening.
Just going back real quick to the whole thing about like liking and what you follow on social media. I personally, I've been more cautious. People have certain people have been, telling me. Just saying.
certain people, certain person.
Let me finish. By the way, things are going well. She just texted me.
Oh.
But listen. And it's true though. You do when you're put in a position of, people look at you more as like
An influential person.
You definitely do got to watch out about what you like
do,
and
yeah.
and certain things that may go around on social media. So I've definitely taken more of a precaution on that.
Yeah.
And thinking twice about what I like. Mm-hmm.
I don't ever like,
Because you don't want to
anything
set the
on
wrong
Instagram,
image
though.
out there too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said earlier, everything that you digest, whether it's social media, movies, music, it says a lot about you. But it doesn't necessarily mean that those are bad things. That what it may say about you.
Of course.
But I think you can take a little bit of that and be like, oh, that makes good conversation for the person that you're trying to build with. So, but I think we can end that segment there, and we're gonna move on to the bow segment up next. Alright, y'all. We're getting into this bow segment, and the first topic that we have at hand is, how do you guys deal with encountering success as a person of color, whether you're children of immigrants or being having the black experience, or how do you guys overcome these struggles that you face and the obstacles that will present themselves being one of those? Have you guys even had any struggles
What are
that you guys can
those?
share?
Shit, those? What is this? Like, what are you calling me?
What are you talking about?
What?
He said, how do you feel being one of those? Excuse me, I didn't know it was my own category. Now I'm playing. I'm playing.
Are you
in that too?
Are you
know.
they? They never love this, man.
Yeah, man, you can't trust them.
Lauren
They.
Ingram over here.
I'm Afro-Indigenous, all right?
To be honest, I feel like we all can speak on this because we're all technically minorities. To me personally, it's a good feeling because obviously I'm not where I want to be, but I appreciate starting at the bottom to work your way up because to me that one builds character, one builds worth. It means a lot more to you than it would if you already had it. And then three, excuse my numbers. To me, it just feels empowering. And to see other people see me do it, that also sometimes motivates other people. So I just appreciate helping myself because I know that only doesn't help me, but someone's watching you. Like like our pastor said, you're influencing people and people are influencing you. So I want to make sure I give the best influence and best outlook as I can from my perspective. And, just doing my own thing, pretty much.
Look at you. You came right today, dressed all just a business day, and this guy doing big things. We're proud of you, Dre.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
How was Miami?
It's okay, man. It's okay.
I mean, for me personally, being that I am a first generation immigrant, I did come when I was 5 years old and moved to the country. I mean, at first, I think I went through like a series of almost like the steps of grief, or like denial or whatever. At first, it would like frustrate me a lot when I first like encountered it, and was like really aware of it. It would frustrate me a lot, especially with my parents. My parents can like defend themselves in English, but sometimes just the way like people's attitude was, like they won't pick up on it, but I would, and it would frustrate me a lot, like to the point where I'd just be like, "Yo, you gotta stop being rude." Like I would call them out on it at times, and obviously that just made like the situation not the best.
Right.
But then like eventually you just kind of grow used to it, and then you like shrug it off. Like when people, sometimes like even at work I'll encounter some stuff and I'll be like, yo, like why? Like why is it? What's the point behind what you're trying to say? But when you see like the success, it just makes it, I guess, I don't know, for me it just makes it a little bit sweeter. Just because like Dre, what you're saying, I agree 100%. Like you go through the struggle, you go through like these certain boundaries that other people may not have, and then once you break them, you're like, oh my, this is amazing. So you I don't know, you kind of feel like it builds your confidence, obviously, I think, ultimately, and then that helps down the road. And and there's other people. I mean, for me, I'm the oldest, so I got two younger brothers that gotta look up to me.
Right.
And if they see me handling the situation, they're gonna act the same way, and that's just gonna resonate with everyone else. So like, oh, you're not gonna get under his skin, and he's somebody who's gonna step up and say what he has to say, but it's not gonna affect him any of the negative stuff. So it kind of almost like, I guess it almost shapes you into being a leader if you really look into it and like dig down deep into it. And, if you can overcome these little things where people are discriminating you or whatever it is, you have all the tools to be successful and be able to grab other people and be like, listen, this is not even like a big issue. This is how we're gonna get over it.
What about you, Kevin?
No, I was just gonna say, like, the fact that we even start off in a position where we're already, counted out. We're already not giving the opportunities that we should probably deserve in the beginning, but we're not. And so I do appreciate and I do completely agree with you guys say is that the success part is what's most important, and getting there, that's the hard part too. Yeah. Getting to that successful part. But once you do reach it, it's sort of like not only a satisfying thing for yourself, but like you guys are saying, it's for others. Yeah. That others can look upon you and say, wow, this is what I want. And not just like what that person wants, but you should want them to strive to do even better.
Even better, exactly.
Because that's the thing too. Is like we see all these great successful people of color, and sure, it's one thing to want to get to their level, but this is just my personal mentality. Is I want to surpass them, not just for myself, but that for others can look upon me and say, yeah, man, he did it. This I want to go one notch above him. I
mean, for me, like this everything that's the success is becoming a Black Panther, I like it. I'm about
Absolutely.
it. You know, what's the director's name? Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I mean every movie he's made so far is fire. Fruitvale
Yeah.
Station. I think we were talking about this at the
Fruitvale
movie theater.
Station, yep.
Fruitvale Station, Creed.
Yep.
Obviously now Black Panther. Creed 2 is gonna start filming I think in like April.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be amazing as well, because they have like a professional boxer. He's it's gonna be Ivan Drago's
Yeah.
son.
Son. Yeah.
So that should be another fire movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that it also inspires. It should inspire like other communities. So like obviously the Black community right now is popping. It's like there's a lot of influence
deserve
like in
Sure.
fashion and movies and in music. And right now they're killing. You guys are killing it. No,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
facts.
thank you.
No, I think they
Thank you,
should.
guys.
Now I think that should motivate other communities like the Hispanic community.
Absolutely.
I know we've been in movies sometimes. We're not there. Like Coco.
One of the
Like Coco, Coco was a hit though.
Coco
but like,
was great, yeah.
but I want to see
I didn't
more
watch
like
that, man.
more like Hispanic
Yeah.
directors, more
I
Hispanic.
mean, they are out there. They exist.
No, they definitely do, but we don't.
We get put
We-
into
we
like
don't
the
put into-
like for example the Oscars. We get put
Yeah.
into the best foreign film.
Yeah,
We don't
true.
get put into the best picture. You know.
Yeah, I think that needs to change.
There's Hector from Fast and the Furious who's played the same character.
Yeah.
Actually,
like,
I found
in
out
all-
that that's not real.
No, it's not real, but like if you look at it, for the most part, it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same role.
But
The name might be
Yeah.
different, but for
I think that plays in everything. Like me as a music artist, like I came here. My mom brought me here. She actually crossed the border with me, and I was 9 months like old when she did that. So it's her birthday. So
Gotta watch
shout
what
out,
she's saying.
shout out for her.
Shout out. Happy birthday.
Watch what she's saying.
Nah, that's the OG right there.
no ice.
ISIS.
Ice.
fam.
Nah, my mom's legal, man.
Okay,
you know what I'm
good,
saying?
you're in there.
We did everything properly, and it wasn't easy. And I think a lot of people don't get like they think that we just came here to come here, but
Yeah,
if you know the history, the background of El Salvador, we had a civil war that went on, and the United States, like everything, they stuck their nose where they shouldn't have, and
Right.
so because of that. They actually passed a thing that was called TPS, which they now got rid of this year, and they granted a lot of immunity to a lot of people in Central America, including Guatemala and Haiti. Those are some of the countries that they helped out. So when we came in, we had already Social Securities, which allowed you to work in this country legally, but it took 24, 25 years for us to actually get legalized. As a resident with a green card.
yeah, it's a process.
So people think like it happens overnight, but it doesn't. But for me, what that taught me is that I'm not entitled to anything. Nobody owes me anything, but I'm still gonna succeed. I'm still gonna strive. I'm still gonna pursue what I want to pursue, and I'm gonna be the best at it. Kind of like what Kevin was saying. Like I love seeing my brothers succeed, like black and brown people, but I'm trying to be the best at anything I do so that I can bring all of us at the top, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the point that I always try to make for myself. Like, if I'm doing something, am I doing it at a top level? Am I doing it with the quality that it's supposed to be at?
Yeah.
And my motivation is to bring not only my friends and family, but even like the youth. Like, I have a heart for like youth of color that, you know what I'm saying, like may not be given those opportunities, especially the ones in the inner city, because that's where I come from, lower income communities. So I think seeing the success we're seeing from like movies like Black Panther and other people just getting it done,
Yeah, like the Shy.
The Shy,
All these like hit shows are going
and even
on
seeing
right now.
someone like Bruno Mars, who's rooted in Mexican roots and Puerto Rican roots, like see him like dominate the Grammys, like that makes you feel proud. Like, yo,
Yeah.
he's one of us, and he's making it happen. And just seeing stuff like that is important to me.
Yep.
I think people need to also realize, you touched upon it a little bit, how messed up the immigration system is in the U.S. Like,
Yeah.
people, like, one of people's first things is they always say, like, oh, you just got to take a test and that's it. It's like, no, like, even if you come here legally, you got to wait a certain amount of time before you can even apply to be a resident, and then you got to wait another time to apply for your citizenship. So it's not like it's a 5-year process and like boom, you're a citizen. It's
And
like
then money too.
yeah, it's a decade. Yeah, like for my parents, like we came in '95. My dad came to finish his master's degree. We were supposed to go back to Colombia. We obviously stayed because he got presented with a good opportunity to work. And then started the whole process of getting your work visa, and then after that you can apply to the green card. And then I didn't get my citizenship till like 2009, and that was like my graduation present for my parents. So I was like, word, like I'll take it. It was like, that means not waiting forever at the airport. I'm about it. Like,
I feel like this could lead us into just like self-worth and value within ourselves that you guys see, and how does that influence your life? Like, how does that influence the moves you make? And you know, how you view yourself is really important.
Yeah.
We live in a society where a lot of people are now open, like they're vocally open about like everything, like the depression, their low self-esteem. But I still see a lot of people that are also vocally open about like, you know, we have to still strive through all those mental health issues, and it's just one of those things that you still got to push through regardless. Like, and I know that I used to struggle with a lot of mental health issues, but I don't think it ever made me feel like less of myself. I just knew like, oh, these are just issues I'm facing mentally, and I have to like get through them. But me, as of right now, I feel like, I don't know, I view highly on myself. Like, I really do, because I feel like, yo, I'm made in God's image, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me to view myself any less than that, for me to view myself any less than what I truly feel, like, I feel like it's disrespectful to God, you know? Like, what's he gonna think? Like, me looking at his own creation and thinking less of myself. Like, that's just the way I view it. So I never look down upon myself.
I mean, I think for me, there was times where I struggled, just because, like I said, I'm the oldest, so I have like two younger brothers that really look up to me, and I have to like. One thing my parents always instilled was like, yo, your brother's gonna be looking at your every move. So like, some of the decisions, although, you know, looking back at it, might not have been the best. Like I did them like, okay, I'm gonna do this because like if my brothers ever ask me, I can educate them.
Right.
So sometimes like I purposely, I guess, made a bad decision just to experience it, so then I could help out my brothers. It might not have been the best decision at the time, looking back at it now, but now like I'm prepared. So like if they say something like, "Oh, I got you, bro. Like, trust me, you don't want to do this. Like, move about it this way." So I mean, I guess, but the negative effects to that was that sometimes I would like question myself and be like, "Whoa, like, is this who I really? Do I want to portray myself as this, or like do I? You know, it caused me to like have an internal struggle. Like, I want to be this, but right now I'm at this level, and it's not on the path to take me to where I want. So sometimes you gotta really like step back, self-evaluate, and then kind of like get right back on the right path.
I can feel you, man. I feel like, man, mine's definitely a mix between yours two. Both of what you guys said, but I feel like mine's also a little bit deep rooted. You know, sometimes just because of who you are, your race, you feel devalued. You feel less valued because how we are seen in the community. How, you know, like think about all the prejudiced thoughts people have about being black, man. It's hard dealing with that, you know what I mean? Especially, and then also the way you're raised. Not the way you're raised, but I wasn't born with money, man. My family ain't have it like that, so I had to get it out the mud. So I feel like when you start down there, you already, I feel like, usually start off with not knowing your worth, not knowing your value. I feel like I definitely start knowing it a little bit more as I got older, and definitely since I came to Christ, I definitely feeling it a lot more. And what I try to do is I keep carrying myself the way I know God would want me to, the way I know that would make Him proud. And even when I talk to other people, whatever the case is, I have a friend right now going through a situation, and you know, I have two friends going through a separate situation. One's a little higher on the Richter scale. I pretty much like, yo, what are you? Do you know what you are? She says, yeah, I'm black. And that's, no, you're a queen. You're, absolutely. You know what I mean? You're God's daughter. You know what I mean? You got to know that. Could you imagine a queen? Like, imagine the actual queen in the kingdom. You think anyone could just walk in there and say, yo, you ugly? And she's going to say, oh my gosh, I'm ugly. And just, no, she's a queen. She knows her status. Yeah. What's the difference? Because she's got a crown on her head?
Yeah, I think like as men and women, we got to like start instilling that within each other. You know what I mean? Like,
we can't keep bringing each other down.
Exactly. We have to build each other up.
I will say this though. I will say this. One of the things about that I really treasure about being a minority is, and Black Twitter touches upon this all the time, is like being in certain situations and knowing how to act at a very young age.
Right.
So like
That's true.
Like in public, I think we all know like
Oh yeah.
God forbid,
I got
like you,
snatched up
God
a couple
forbid you
times, 2
acted up
times.
in public.
Oh,
Just
boy.
like the power of a look, or just a simple sentence,
One-
like
I didn't
One
get no
last
look.
point.
like wait till we get home, and you knew like you were immediately like thinking like, yo, this is gonna be bad. Like I should probably say bye to my friends. Like I might never
Write a
see
letter.
them. Like
Yep.
yeah,
Write a letter.
One last point that I want to drive before we close out this segment. One thing that I do notice about just like people that are minorities or just people of color in general, whether you were raised in the hood or raised in the suburbs, wherever you were, I notice this a lot in the workplace. Let's say like you're in the elevator and you accidentally are in that person's path that's walking out. A lot of us would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," even if it's not our fault. But that's just like because we're trained like that, you know. Like we were raised like to be like apologetic a lot. I don't get that a lot from white people. Like they just like they feel like they had the right of way, and they just keep it moving.
I just keep going. I don't. What's up?
But me, no matter what, no matter where I am, I'm always like, oh, like I'm sorry. Even if I know I wasn't in the wrong, I'm always like, oh, my bad. Like even though you know that person may have been in my path, it's just like something that I was brought up to think because you're like you never know how they're gonna react and what's gonna happen. How's that gonna escalate?
More worried about other people as well. We're a wonderful minority group, man.
Absolutely.
I love it.
facts.
I love it.
Brown and black power.
But we get into
Wakanda
Black
forever,
Panther up
Wakanda-
next.
You
Know what I
really
mean?
gonna say that, fam.
Black Panther up next in the toast section. We'll be back. It's the toast section, and we want to start it off right, giving a toast to Drake for what he did in that God's Plan video.
Aubrey
God's
Graham.
plan.
Toast to him. How much he gave out?
Almost a million.
It was almost a million.
like
996,000.
There was a lot of controversy around that. A lot of people were like,
Heard.
he shouldn't have filmed it.
Yeah.
Houston got mad because like that's where he like came up. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like they thought like, oh, he should have.
Then he should have done Atlanta, Vegas as well.
Yeah. Finish out the show.
But I feel
or
like
Toronto.
I feel like people are never grateful for when like Drake doesn't have to give out money,
Right.
Man.
but the fact that he did,
that's gonna be too big of a controversy. People always feel entitled.
Yeah.
He worked his butt off to get to where he's at. He doesn't have to do it. He's doing it because he wants to, man.
exactly,
And he helped out a lot of people. He gave scholarships, he
Yeah.
gave checks.
just
he
to
gave-
see like that mom and son cry, like I was like,
Yeah.
yo, you could tell
Yeah.
they mad appreciative. And,
I knew it was real. At first, when he was doing it, I was like,
I'm not gonna lie.
The first couple.
I had to fight back tears. I was like, yo, this is like really nice.
I counted.
Now y'all know how I feel.
I said, "Yo, that's 40,000. That's I can tell. I just know how the bundles look." I said, "That's 40,000." I said, "Yo, he gave 4 stacks. It was 10,000." I was like, "Yo, dang, I should have." Where was this at? Where was this
But
from?
what's interesting is that Drake is Canadian.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think there's been another video like it. Like you would think like an American artist would have done the same thing. I mean, I guess JJ Watt is the closest where he just like today I'm gonna start raising money and did the whole Houston thing.
like I've always heard stories about like Jay giving money, but he keeps it silent. Like Jay's always giving money to like stuff that happens with like police brutality,
Yeah.
the victims of the families and stuff like that.
Didn't he pay for someone's lawyer?
Yeah,
He paid for someone's lawyer that
I forgot. I think it was Khalif Brown. What was his name?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Damn,
can't
I feel
remember
so
the
bad
fucking-
for
he tries.
But
He moves in silence. That's just the way he works.
yeah, I think just seeing that was great though.
Yeah, man.
So shout out to Drake for that. But the moment we've been all been waiting for,
Yes.
Black Panther
Yes.
came out
wants
this
to do it.
weekend.
Look at his face.
We all seen it.
Can we,
Wakanda forever.
we're doing the Wakanda Forever symbol right now.
Nah, I mean, even so we allowed our producer to chime in on this. So Axel, you won't see him.
You'll just hear him.
But you'll hear him.
What's up, guys?
He's there.
What's
Oh,
up?
there he is.
So, all right, initial thoughts of the movie, the film. Like we all saw it. What do you guys think?
I'll
Did it
give,
live up
I'll
to the
give my
hype?
opinion since I'm not like a super
Deep.
deep film critic like some of us here.
Damn, throwing shots.
No, I mean, but you guys,
compliment.
but you guys analyze movies differently than,
That's
than
true.
I do. So like,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna be looking at certain stuff.
Yeah.
His
So
shirt was
for
white
me-
instead of black.
For me, I mean, I liked it. Like whoever that critic was like, there's not enough bad guys. Dumb. because I think
The whole world was the bad guy.
right. So I think there's that, and it sets. This is a different movie compared to every other Marvel movie, just because Black Panther isn't as known as, let's say, Iron Man, where everyone already goes into the movie knowing like sort of a backstory.
Right.
So I think with this one, it did a really good job of explaining the backstory and then moving forward
And
with what,
connecting it.
yeah, and moving forward with what the plot was gonna be.
Yeah.
The thing I appreciated about it, and I found out later on in looking at some interviews, some of the cast members did with like Hot 97 and The Breakfast Club, and the director, was that they put in small details that connect with millennials. So like
That's
the
right.
sneakers,
Yeah, that was one of
no.
my favorite scenes. The joke.
yeah,
With
some
the
of the
sneakers?
jokes, some of the like the guys like wearing Jordans, like their everyday gear. I mean, if you look at Creed,
Claw, remember?
yeah,
His
exactly.
mixtape.
He's making sound tape, SoundCloud. No, he does a really good job at that, of connecting what the movie is with like millennials are going to pick it up right away. Like the sneaker joke is hysterical. The SoundCloud one as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, like just like a casual moviegoer, I liked it. I loved it. Well, I'd probably go see it again, but I'm going to wait till it comes out on Netflix.
That's right.
Wait to Redbox.
Because I'm
Netflix
balling
will
into the
premiere.
budget.
I loved it. Second favorite superhero movie behind The Dark Knight. And the only reason I put it behind that is because The Dark Knight pushed a lot of, and you guys can chime in whenever you guys want to debate me on whatever, but I feel the
ready
Dark
to
Knight
fight.
like really took that genre to the next level. Black Panther did it more culturally,
Right.
but as far as in the art, Dark Knight, what Christopher Nolan did with that, it was amazing. And I don't think Black Panther matched up with it, because as much as I love it, there was a lot of stuff that went wrong with the CGI. The CGI on the suit, CGI on the fight with
Yeah, who is this guy?
Killmonger on the train tracks. That was horrible. And then there was like a lot of stuff that was just like, for me, like, if they had fixed the rhinos, when the rhinos came out during the
yeah.
battles,
Yeah.
that you could tell it was CGI, and you shouldn't be able to tell. You should be like, oh, this looks as
Did you want a
as it
real
could get.
rhino? Like what?
No,
like,
not a real rhino, but it's 2018. Like the CGI should be up to par. Like it should be on point. But regardless, it was a great film. Other than that, I do
Yeah,
have
that's
some
like the stuff that like I kind of find annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Like the CGI was off because like the left tooth,
What?
the left
What
tooth
does
by the
CGI
shoulder,
stand for?
the left
This is
tooth
me,
by the
like,
shoulder was bad. I was like, who
Computer
cares?
generated. Axel, help me out.
The movie made over 240 million.
That's not what I asked. What does CGI mean?
Every single time.
CG, yes.
CGI.
Computer generated image.
Image. That's what it is.
What? Where did
You're
you get
welcome.
that hold on. Where did you get that response?
I wasn't paying attention.
Wait,
Wait, hold on, hold on,
It
hold on,
made a
hold on.
killing.
Wait, how much did it make?
240.
Over 240.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
it was
But that's including the holiday with yesterday.
Gotcha.
it was like 245, I believe. I think it made over 400 globally.
So they made 40 million profit.
Yeah.
So here's my take on it. As kind of like Shorty, average moviegoer, I wasn't never really into the comics like that, but I've learned to love them. To me, Black Panther, I would put it right now, top 5 best superhero movies that's been out.
I'm actually
Top 5.
interested in that list.
Yeah, I could give you the list later.
Top 3.
Because a lot of people said that this was the best Marvel superhero movie they've seen. That going into it, and I still like I said, don't
I
get me
didn't hear
wrong,
anybody say that.
I've heard
it
people
too.
say that. And don't get me wrong, Black Panther is phenomenal, but I would put it in top 5. And actually, I'm agreeing with you on the whole Dark Knight thing.
Yeah.
That's my number 1 too, and not just. And here's the simple fact why: The Dark Knight was the first superhero movie where I rooted for the villain more than I did the superhero.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight, legendary.
Amazing.
Well, I mean,
Legendary.
I'll agree with you on that one, just because it was the first time where you actually saw the Joker,
Right.
as opposed to like a cartoon
Right.
in person, and like it matched up.
Yeah.
Like everything, mannerisms, like
Right.
just how you would expect him in real life.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger pulled it off.
Absolutely.
Jared Leto needs to like,
What?
What about
Get
Jack
outta here.
Nicholson in 1989, the original Batman movie?
yo, chill. Who
We
hurt you?
want more.
No, he's a
you're-
he's
no,
a great Joker
it's a
too.
good-
He was great.
It's a good, but like for kids, for people our age, Unless you're like looking back at that.
Christopher
at that film.
Nolan made the Joker darker,
Yeah.
like way darker.
More realistic and more sympathetic.
Yeah,
That's what I was just gonna say, because that performance, Heath Ledger's performance, it was the first time where I legit felt every emotion. I felt sympathetic to him. He made me laugh. I was kind of like scared. Like he made me scared. He made me
and he was
happy for him. You know,
he was a villain that wasn't even after power.
Yeah.
Like when he had all that money, he just burned it.
That's
And
true.
it was
Did you
like crazy.
watch that movie again in the theaters?
I watched it 8 times. I watched it 8 times in the theater.
Yeah.
But Killmonger kind of
Black Panther.
Killmonger reminds me like I can relate a lot to Killmonger because when he enters,
Raised in Oakland.
it's just about like he comes from a tough background, no father figure because his father was killed, and yeah, spoiler alert. But we said
We
that from the
already warned
beginning
y'all.
though.
Yeah, we already warned him.
So
Pause it now.
his father's killed, and so he comes to Wakanda with a mission of like, yo, they have all these resources. My people are being oppressed. We could help them out, but we're being greedy with it. So I'm like, so that's really relatable on a human level.
Sure.
And I also liked when he's in a museum and the quotes that he has. He says to the lady that's talking about the
hammer.
The artifacts.
Yeah, one of the artifacts that has vibranium.
Yep.
He's all like, how do you think your ancestors got these? Do you think they paid a fair price or did they take it like they took everything else? Like that line, I'm telling you, the theater was quiet, but you could hear me be like, yo. And like the white people that were next to me just looked at me and laughed.
They know
like,
not to say nothing at that moment.
no, but yeah, like,
I mean,
I'm-
be empowered.
like everybody was quiet. I'm like, this is a powerful point. And I love him as a villain because it showed us a different type of villain that the Marvel series hasn't shown us. Like Joker's DC, so we haven't seen
Yeah.
something similar.
Yeah, I think with Marvel, it's been like very cookie cutter villains.
Yeah.
But I appreciate this movie, I feel like, so much because it actually had a message and had a reason for the making of it. And I feel like it resounds with me so much because it's a similar story that me and a lot of my brothers and sisters have dealt with. You know, like if you think about the whole movie plot, how Africa is looked at as a third world country. If you remember speaking with the CIA agent, spoiler alert, he was like, he says, what? They don't have this vibranium. They're a third world country.
Yeah.
You know, so it's so crazy because a lot of it is true. And even though this isn't necessarily true, they probably don't have vibranium, but they do have a lot of resources. They're valuable because of who they are. But a lot of people don't see it because they see, huts and all this other stuff. But that's not how all of Africa is.
Right.
I know people from Ethiopia said they're more beautiful than here. You know what I mean? So I really, really liked the movie because it spoke to me. And I was able to, like, even while watching the movie, I kind of felt like I was in it. Like, he knows what I'm talking about. So I think that was definitely one of my favorite movies that I've watched in a while.
I think one of my favorite seasons was the end. I don't really have to say a spoiler because we said that from the jump. But at the end, when he lost the fight to Black Panther, to T'Challa, Killmonger tells him like, "Oh, how like." I'm just paraphrasing here because I don't know the exact quote, but he says something like, how silly I am to think that a kid from Oakland was going to believe in fairy tales when his father told him that he was going to one day be able to see Wakanda and how beautiful it was. So
the sunset.
then he takes him up to the sunset, and I love the last line. Like, instead of like, T'Challa offers him to
be healed.
be healed, and he's like, no, he's like, you're just gonna jail me. So he's all like, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from ships because they knew death was better than bondage. I was
Drop
like,
the mic
yo,
right now,
wow.
Drop that mic right now.
that's the best. That's the best line of the movie, I think.
That's a heck of a way to end it, bro.
One thing I wanted to get into though, I thought was very important. The women of Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yo, when everything went to like crap, yo, they held it down.
For sure.
And it kind of reminded me of my own life because I never had a male role model. Like growing up, it was all women. It was my mom, it was my aunts, my cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like they were the ones that raised me, and it just reminded me of like that situation when they stepped up to the plate. They went and
Handle business.
handle business. They got the resources that Killmonger was burning, and we're like, no, we're gonna use this in case we need it. They got all of Black Panther's accessories, and then when he comes back, they're ready.
They
Like,
saved the movie, to be
They
honest.
saved the movie.
Yeah, the female warriors are based off of a real tribe.
Yeah,
They were actually like one of the more feared tribes in Africa. So it wasn't
I
like
wouldn't be
it's not like
surprised.
yeah. I mean, it's not like all like based off like oh this is like well what if no, like this. A lot of it's like based off in
a lot of the
on true.
costumes in
Yeah.
the movies were actually based off real. Like the costume designers, they took the time to go and research a lot
yeah.
of like African countries and cultures.
Yeah.
And a lot of the scarves, blankets that you see, the hats that they wear.
Even Killmonger's the dots or the scars.
Oh
on
yeah, the
his
scars
body,
on his body.
that
That
signifies how many people he's killed. That's actually
Yeah.
I've heard that's actually real.
that's a real
that's a
thing.
real
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie deserves everything it gets, man. That movie, they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had a real meaning. I feel like it wasn't just for entertainment. It was
Right.
for entertainment
It was like
and for
the
like, it's
double
teaching you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the double
Yeah.
meaning to
Yeah.
it.
A lot of people on my timelines, I saw a lot of people just complain about like they didn't want it to be that deep, but like it's possible to watch a movie because one, you enjoy it as a comic book movie, but then also you enjoy it for the culture, like the culture is giving you the symbolism, the deep meanings,
People, man.
and everything. Like this is important for the Black community, like to see like a black cast of like superheroes. You don't get represented like that, and to see like little kids go up there and be like, oh, I can feel like that too, not just like
Yeah, there's like a video too, little kids like pointing at the poster and be like, "Oh, I'm him."
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's not
Yeah.
stuff you
Like
see
that's
every day.
Yeah.
that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so even for little kids, like I find like this is an investment for parents, like to take them to this and be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like this is fun, but at the same time, it's representing you.
I mean, it's needed because Hollywood does an amazing job at whitewashing a lot of stuff.
True.
I mean, at least for me, like some of the movies I really enjoyed growing up was like the Mighty Ducks movie, and Mendoza when he came on, I loved him more than I loved Charlie Banks.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, oh, Mendoza, that's a Hispanic name. Like, I'm Hispanic. Like, and then I was like, from that, like, I played hockey for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, it's just little stuff like that when you see people like, from your own heritage or your own culture like succeeding and stuff like, yo, I can do that. So it's good to see that as well coming back because I think it gone away for a while.
Definitely.
Cool.
And I'm
We didn't get
definitely
Axel's thought on it.
I'm definitely gonna. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Like,
Me?
You've been
Yeah.
quiet.
You guys are
He
talking.
was waiting.
But yeah, I really liked it a lot.
All right, and that
I
wraps
think-
it up.
I think as a story, like just the arc of Black Panther being from this king all of a sudden then taken down and now it pretty much rises from the ashes from being dead basically, and then Killmonger being the villain that he is, basically literally, and you can actually visually see it once he becomes king temporarily. The first shot after that is it's literally upside down.
yeah.
And it's
Wow,
literally visualizing, and it's a metaphor, I guess, at least that's how I took it, that he basically rocked their world and just flipped.
I like that Killmonger was able to still influence in his death the rest of Wakanda, like, and make them share the resources. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, I don't know if you guys agree or disagree.
So that's the thing about Killmonger, though. That's the influence he had on Black Panther.
Yeah,
Because at the beginning he was just trying to keep the status quo, and by the end of the film he sees more of what Killmonger was trying to do, and then kind of integrates that, but in a different way without the violence.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the arc there. That I think it was really well done that way.
yeah, it was good. That's why I think he's one of the best villains to come out, and this is a great addition to the Marvel's cinematic universe.
And I think it shows also a different light for Michael B. Jordan because a lot of the movies he does, he's
Right.
always like the protagonist, and he's always like the good guy.
That's
I mean,
true.
he
When
like
you-
legitimately is a good guy
It's
in real
funny.
life.
yeah.
It's funny because
But,
he
like-
wasn't in the film as much, like, but he made an impact.
Impact, yeah.
You felt his impact, but, he
But
wa-
that's true. He did. And I was going to say, in a lighter way, I feel like because the part that I really liked also that he did when he was first about to fight him, and he's like, "You sure you want to do this?" He's like, "Man, I was killed for this." I like, and he was taking off his stuff, getting ready. I could feel the emotion. I kind of felt like that's kind of how we feel on a day-to-day basis, of course, in a lighter way. But like, yo, I came from the mud for this. Like, I scraped
once
for
you
this.
get that shot,
like, this is what I'm here for. You really asking me, do I want to do this? Like, I just felt that I was like, yo, I just want to get up and just tighten up real quick, bro. I was like, yo, I like that was another one of my favorite parts, man.
Yeah. And shout out to Cherie, T'Challa's sister. Mad funny, mad one-liners. Loved her.
Sneakers.
Nakia. The women were dope, man.
Yeah.
They definitely shine throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Man.
Lupita Nyong'o.
So I love it. But that closes out today's podcast. Tune in next week. And as usual, you can find us this Friday, 52 Russell Street, Cambridge, 8 o'clock at the City.
We'll see you
we out.
there.